Charles and Sherry's 55-year anniversary. If you're here, you're family. All of you are important to us. Our common denominator is love. High school sweethearts who've been great examples to my brother and I. Dad picked a wonderful mother for us, and Mom picked a wonderful father to us, and they've stayed best friends. She loved being a mom so much that she said she could hardly stand it when we went down for a nap. She's a prayer warrior, an encourager, a fantastic cook. She sings like an angel, and she's a good friend. Dad is an artist, a poet, a chicken farmer. That's the newest one. And if you want a rooster, see Dad. He has a and a lover of people. It doesn't matter if you live in $1 million home or a little shack. He loves your heart. He loves you. He loves people. He treats you the same. That's special. He followed in his father's footsteps as an insurance man, which little Charles Jr. has done now too. Whenever someone else would run on my Papa's debit route to collect, sometimes people wouldn't pay the money, and they'd say, "Where's the man that comes around that gives out the Bibles?" When Dad was able to buy his dream car in the insurance business, it was a Corvette Stingray. It was yellow, which, as you all know, is the perfect car for a family of 4. We would take Saturday rides to lunch or destination, one child between Mama's legs and the other in the trunk. On the way back, we'd trade spots. The other one could see out the window, the other one could be in the trunk. Every weekend was family time. Fishing, rummaging through old houses, which probably somebody would be living in them now, but back then we could. Dad's like, "Hey, there's an old house. Let's pull off and go in it and see what we find." And there would be old bottles or who knows what we'd find. But we did that, and it was family time. It was free. It was good.
Nobody tried to shoot you?
Right? We did building projects. We put up a big fence, big as this room, not prefab, board by board. And a 10 and 12-year-old are not shooting nails with a hammer in straight. So Dad was like doing all the work, basically. We're just sitting there watching and talking to him. Oh my goodness. One time, we decided to go down to Curry Beach and hike the Hermit House Trail. If any of y'all have ever done that, it rained really bad the day before. Mom had on the cutest little sandals, and she kept telling Dad when we got back to the car she was going to kill him. She does love shoes. When they lived off Eastwood Road, Dad said, "Come here, Shelly, I want to show you something." We went to the back door, couple pair of shoes. To the front door, couple pair of shoes. The garage door, shoes. Went to her closet, and he goes, "Look, I counted them. There's 50 pair in here." She come around the corner. "Y'all better not be talking about me." He said, "I'm just showing Shelly your shoes, honey." She said, "Where did we meet?" He said, "The shoe store." "How many pair of shoes did you sell me?" He said, 3. She said, "That was your sign. That should have told you something." Mom stayed home with us kids till we were in middle school, and then she worked part-time. We went to work too, both of us. As soon as we could get a work permit at 15, we're working. So we decided we all want to save up to get an in-ground swimming pool. So at the end of every week, we go in there and give Daddy what we could. All of us are putting in. He'd say, "Great news, team, we have enough for the ladder." We keep putting it in. All right, team, We got enough for the liner. And finally, we were able to get that pool. We lived on a corner lot in a neighborhood that was full of children. It was perfect. Kids would skate, ride bikes, walk up to the stop sign on Saturday morning. Hey, Mr. Ussery. Hey, Grant, you want to go swimming? Yes, sir. Well, go ask your mama and get your towel and come on back. Hey, Mr. Ussery. Hey, Scott, you want to go swimming? Yes, sir. Well, go ask your mama, get your towel and come back. Before we knew it, there's 6 kids standing in the driveway. Dad's like, y'all want to go swimming? Yes, sir. Okay, well, here's a rake for you, a broom for you, a trash bag for you. We're all going to work for an hour, and then you can swim the rest of the day.
That was kids' labor.
It was child labor and it's smart. Many hands make light work. We had dirt bikes. Then we moved up to some street bikes. For some reason, Mom was learning to drive the Honda Shadow. For some reason, I was on the back of it. Now we are on the dirt path and we are going down beside the creek. And she did really good on the straightaway. When you get to the end, you have to turn to go back. Well, she freaked out. She got the gas and the clutch mixed up. She elbowed me off. We go down. She slides a long way. Oh, Lord. We gather ourselves together, managed to get the bike turned upright, pull out hunks of dirt and grass. We could not get it crunk up. And it was a long walk. It was from here to where you come into the driveway. We're both hobbling back, pushing it. She's like, don't tell your daddy. Oh, Lord. Well, when we become teens, they converted the garage into a hangout for us. Pool table, darts, soda machine, a payphone. She scored an arcade game from the man at the bowling alley. She worked at the bank and he come through with arcade games in the back and she said, oh, those games look wonderful. My children would love them. And he said, what's your address? Keep them as long as you want. So we had like Galaga. Man, it was a great hangout. They wanted us to hang out there and be safe. And it was a big hit. And all of our friends could spend the night with us. There were only a handful we were allowed to spend the night with, which was pretty smart looking back. Finally, car keys. Freedom! There was no 360 tracker or AirTags, right? You told Mama you're going to Amy's house. She just had to believe that's where you're going. Most of y'all know what I'm talking about. Yourself and with your children, right? So yes, I'm going to Amy's. Okay. Don't you go past Kmart. All right, I won't. Little Charles had a Honda Civic, which if you know, it's like a fourth of a car, right? Little Honda Civic hatchback, and he's a big kid. He's always tall. And the back, what little room there was full of a big speaker back there. Boom, 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 boom. Anyway, we went out one evening to be with our friends. He killed the engine. It was a stick shift. Killed the engine, coasted up the hill. We bumped the door with our hip. Quiet as a mouse. We didn't jiggle the door key. Like, we had made it. Didn't creak on that third step. We knew right where it was. We missed it. We was doing good. But then, Shelley? Yes, sir. Charles? Yes, sir. That y'all? Yes, sir. You been drinking? No, sir. You been smoking? No, sir. Well, come in here and kiss me and your mama good night. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. I'm sure little Charles just pranced right in there. Good night. I love y'all. Nice knowing you, sis. Alan's in a precarious situation. I did what any kid would do in that survival mode. I ate my chapstick. Now, I don't know if he really knew what I've been up to. Saturday mornings, 8 o'clock, it didn't matter what you'd been up to, it's time for yard work. It's 90 degrees, a hot July day. It's time to get up, rise and shine. Oh my goodness. But we had a great childhood. It was wholesome and it was wonderful. And as good as they loved us, they 100% adored their two granddaughters, Michaela and Sophia. And when they were little girls, they were able to spend a lot of time with them and love them and spoil them. And they brought a lot of joy to Mom and Dad's life. Sophia's here tonight. Michaela lives in Louisiana with her little girl, Riley. And I guess we will sing happy anniversary, God loves you. And then if anybody else wants to say anything, you can, and then we'll have some cake. And I appreciate you coming, and I hope everybody will please make a plate. I've got saran wrap and extra plates, and it's a lot of food. So if you want to take a plate, please do. All right, let's sing happy anniversary, God loves you, okay? Happy anniversary to you. Happy anniversary to you. Happy anniversary, God bless you. Happy anniversary to you.
Good job.
Okay, Mom said introduce yourselves and say how you know me.
Yeah, say how you know us.
You're my brother.
Introduce yourself. Calvin and Ginger Ussery.
I'm Ginger, I'm his sister-in-law. You're Calvin, right?
Yeah, I got a little brother. He used to get beat up all the time.
Today he is.
He threw me through the wall one time, knocked the plaster off the wall.
Oh my.
That's the one John Gibbons.
Yeah, covered it up with one of his pictures.
He was an artist.
Yes, I'm not about
This
it.
is going south. I should have come to you last. Stories. No kidding.
This is good. He's my brother. He's my brother.
Sweetness.
John?
Huh?
Tell us that.
We dove together for many years. We tried to drown each other once or twice, unintentionally. Didn't get down to a lot of good things, a lot of good animals down below there, and made a good life of it. We kept looking for that pot of gold down on the ocean bed, but we never did find it. But there was all sorts of things just as beautiful. It meant a lot more. Many years diving with Charlie. Very good.
You want to tell them about the dive at the Hyde where the anchor came loose and we had to swim for the boat?
Which one? I don't know. Oh, that one. You know, when you go diving, you always check the anchor. And you never dive pretty alone. You always leave somebody on the boat just in case. Well, we went diving together to the Hyde, and it's, people don't know where the Hyde is, 20 miles out there and about 100 feet of water, maybe 90. And dropped the anchor. We usually check the anchor to make sure it's hooked good. We usually hook it on the bow of the boat, metal to metal, something. Anyway, we spent our 45 minutes or an hour, came up, went to the deck of the boat, the Hyde down there to grab the anchor line for a nice ascent. And all I saw was a track in the sand where the anchor had been dragged.
Oh, no.
So I started following the track. I figured, well, I said, looked around a little bit. Charles wasn't anywhere around, so I said, well, I'll start following that track and see where it leads. I went, kept swimming, and I said, well, I think I'll do a slow ascent, do a 360. I did about a quarter of a mile down there. I saw a boat down there. Charles luckily got back to the boat in time that he could swim to the anchors. It was dragging its way towards Carolina Beach. And got it back, and we could be calling the Coast Guard. We didn't have to call them home. We both survived. That's one of our.
Yeah, we would be in the newspaper if we hadn't.
Yeah, we didn't make it back. Yeah.
All right, Georgie.
Skipping everybody
We're going to go around, guys.
I'm just a guy with a girl. And I'm lucky to be part of this family. I'm really, really blessed, and I love y'all a bunch, and happy anniversary.
Great. We're lucky too to have George in the family. And Shelley, she looks out for us. And some mornings we'll get a phone call, so what are y'all doing today? And we'll say nothing. They said, well, we're gonna come over. Okay, they'll come over and bring the weed eater and chainsaw and get up and clean the gutters out on the house and things like that. Just, we don't even ask them to do anything, they just do that out of the goodness of their heart, so we feel very fortunate. And George is great.
I got a good client here.
He brags about you even when you're not around.
Well, I'm Charles Jr. And thanks to Shelley, she pretty much put all this together, so thank you, I appreciate you. You missed your calling, you should have been on Broadway. That was a great story up there, but so I didn't come prepared with a speech or a book or anything, but I love you guys, and you guys have been a great example for me, and great childhood memories. I've got tons of them, and I can't thank you guys enough for everything you've done for me. So, love you guys.
I'm in the same boat as him. I didn't come prepared in the slightest.
That's our granddaughter Sophia. She's the youngest one.
Just say ditto.
Huh?
Say ditto.
And you want to start?
Oh yeah, I'm a nephew of the family. Andy is my wife Heather. It's my son Ty and Billy, and we are Kay's family, but we're y'all's family too. So we love it. We love y'all. We're super happy to be able to celebrate this with y'all, and appreciate the example you've set for us. So love you.
I'm Rick Edwards. I'm fortunate enough to be his brother-in-law. And Sherry, my sister-in-law. And sometimes it's hard to tell between her and my wife. But yeah, we've been together, 47 years coming up this coming February.
It's a long time.
Been a long time knowing them, and they've been wonderful people to be associated with and family members with, and God appointed them for us, and I thank Him for allowing it to happen. But now they're my next door neighbor, and I couldn't ask for anything better.
It's great.
Thank you.
Except if they get rid of the roosters, would that be better?
No!
Trying,
Your turn.
I love y'all very much. I can't hear anything that anybody's saying, but I know it's all true and good. And I love y'all more than you will ever know. And you're the best.
We love you.
I'm Donna Carlisle, and they are so dear to me and a good friend. And thanks, Shelley, for inviting me.
I'm gonna see if I can stand up. I'm probably the oldest one in this room.
She is. Yay, Aunt Myrtle.
And I'm thankful to be here. You know, there's a lot of, I'm 89, but there's a lot of people a lot younger than me in a lot worse condition than me. But speaking of Sherry and Charlie, I just want to say a thing or two. They're special. They know they're special. And we love them with all of our heart. And you never know what Charlie's going to be up to sometimes. But you just take him for what he's worth, and that's pretty much. And it's usually a good thing. But I got to tell something funny on Sherry. I'm the oldest of 6 kids, and I learned to cook standing on a lard stand. Do y'all know what a lard stand is? I learned to cook standing on a lard stand because I asked my mama to let me learn to cook.
An L-A-R-D?
So Sherry's always been a good cook, but she had never fixed Thanksgiving dinner for the family at this particular time that I'm talking about. And, she called me and she said, I got a question. I said, okay. And I knew she was fixing dinner for the family. And she said, this turkey don't have but 2 legs. And I said, well, how many is he supposed to have? And she said, well, I think he has 4, don't he? I said, no, that turkey only has 2 legs. You're safe. Keep up with your cooking. You're doing good. I love you.
I'm Sanford. Sherry's my aunt. Charlie's my uncle-in-law. I love y'all. You're very special, dear to me. Love you too.
You got any funny stories?
No.
This is Jeff Evers, and his wife Barbara. We met Charles and Sherry. He was my first insurance man 52 years ago when I had my first daughter. And Charles used to come by the house, and I thought I knew what I was doing, but I was making some jelly. And Charles said, that smells good. And I said, well, I'll give you some. So I gave him a jar of jelly. And he went home, and that night, I tried that jelly, and it just wasn't gel. And so I called him the next day. I said, you need to bring that jelly back so I can cook it some more. And he said, oh, we ate that. And I said, no, you didn't. You drank it. You remember that? But, yeah, we've known you a long time, and we love you as friends. It's always been our heart. Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
Well, I'm Billy Sue. Another Billy here tonight. I'm about 3 weeks older than Sherry. We grew up together. We call ourselves the Womb Sisters because our moms were friends. When they were pregnant with us, they were friends. They went to the same doctor, and I decided to hurry up and get her first. So I love both of you. And I went to school with Charlie, and that's where I met him. You really ought to tell a story about your mom shooting the BB gun at your car because Charlie told her they were going to the beach.
What was that?
Your window out with the BB gun. Well, it was. Charles had come to get me one day. We were going to the beach. Our mama was a very religious lady. We were dating, and she didn't allow any alcohol, cards, or no beach and no dancing. She was a full-fledged Pentecostal woman from head to toe. And so he come to get me, and she asked where we were going. And he said, we're going to run down to the beach. And she said, no, you're not. And I said, Mom, we're just going to ride down there. And she said, no, you're not. And there was a BB gun sitting behind, laying up against the wall on the porch. So she reached around and she grabbed that gun. And we began to get in the car, and she took that gun and set it up like this, and she pulled the trigger, and it busted his whole back window out. And she said, she didn't know it was cocked, so she didn't really mean to shoot his window out. But anyway, she dropped the gun and she went, oh my Lord, Charlie, I'm so sorry, you know. She was really upset about it. So Daddy come out of the house and he heard us, and he come out and he said, Edna, what in the world have you done? And she said, I didn't mean to. And so he went out and he looked at the damage and all that kind of stuff. And we were sitting in the car when she actually shot the back of the window out. So I guess we were lucky it didn't hit one of us. But anyway, my daddy was, he was one of these that was always ready for a bargain, you know. He didn't get anything unless he could bargain for it or something. So anyway, he looked at the window and told Charlie, he said, you go to the junkyard and you find you a back window, and I'll pay to have it put in.
So anyway, that's exactly what he did. He went to the junkyard, got a Glenda, and Daddy paid to have it put in. And so anyway, we've always told that story because Mama, she always hated that she did that because she really didn't mean to. But it was funny because she was serious when she said we weren't going to the beach. Yeah.
Did y'all make it to the beach?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
They probably peeled out fast.
Okay.
Okay, I'm Rusty, I'm Sue's husband. And Sherry, I'm pretty sure the four-legged turkeys will roadkill.
Probably right, Rusty.
We love y'all very much.
We love y'all. Pastor, this is our pastor and his wife, brother and sister Knowles.
Just like to say that we've not known them as long as y'all have known them, but we have grown to love them. And we appreciate them very much. I'm looking for him to take her on about a 2-week cruise now.
Yes.
So, Charlie, do what's right by her, like you have for these 55 years. She's learned it, I'm sure. So, be good to her for the next 55, and I hope we're here to greet you on all of them.
I have a message for you children. You children send them on a cruise. That's what our children did, only it wasn't a cruise. It was an 18-day tour of Europe. That on our 50th, our children sent us. So you children have got to send them wherever they want to go.
Thank you.
You better start saying it.
Look, baby, we got a ladder.
Great news.
My name is David Brett, and I'm a friend of Charles and Sherry's and Shelley's. And this young man down here with the white hair, yes, right here.
Ricky?
We're all hangers out at the Golden Corral. So if y'all are looking for us and we're not here, we're at the Golden Corral. This eatingest bunch of people I've ever seen. Everything is done over a good meal.
Yeah.
Church, friends, love, everything. And it's a pleasure to know Charles and Sherry and Shelley. And Bruce, what's your name?
Yeah.
Bruce.
Ricky.
Oh, okay. But it's been a pleasure. And Shelley, nice to meet all of y'all. Thank you so much for inviting us. Thank you so much. I enjoyed it.
Thank you. Happy anniversary.
This is my wife Pam, but I say that. This is my wife Pam. She's the lady that looks after me real good. I'm supposed to say that.
By the way, children, y'all, you're supposed to have a card that you read at the end. That's what our children did. So the children stood up and read the card. You, happy anniversary, get your things packed because you're going on a trip. That's what you gotta do.
She's not letting me.
Well, I'm Tim, this is my wife Sherry. We've known for Charlie and Sherry for a good while. We're also some that hang out at the Golden Corral. Seems like that's the best place for a while. Talk about the current events, especially our wonderful president and stuff like that. But really and truly, I think a lot of Sherry, I'm still out on Charles. I can't seem to figure him out. So maybe for the next month or so at the Golden Corral, after some long conversation, I'll have something better to say. But we do think a lot of both of them and appreciate the opportunity to spend time seeing Shelley and George at the Golden Corral, and sometimes we forget and other friends here that go to the Golden Corral. I just wish there was another place other than the Golden Corral where old people could eat cheap. Or cheaper. Cheaper.
Well, we've been friends since, we met at church here. I don't know how many years ago.
Long time.
So we've just been friends for a long time through the church. And then, like Tim said, we ended up visiting with them at Golden Corral. And it's just nice to go and just sit down and talk and not worry about being in a hurry. Just visit. So, but anyway, we love them very much. So okay, so Sue is the womb, what did you say?
Womb sisters.
Okay, well, so Sherry and I are sisters from another mother.
There you go. Sisters from another mother.
And my way, I was holding Sherry's hand when Charles was born.
That's right.
I said, "It's a boy."
Because Daddy was at the pool hall? Because Daddy was at the pool hall?
I was being born.
But I will say one other thing, I will not be here for the next 55th.
Probably.
Probably.
I'm John King, this is my wife Duffy. Met Charles and Sherry a long time ago, in the early 70s, 73. I worked with Charles and his dad Leo in the insurance business in Life of Georgia. Couple of stories with Charles that took place. Did snake hunting with Charles. Might want to think twice about that. But I've also been fishing with Charles. We'd go over in the Brunswick River, but we went snake hunting on Smith Creek. And we had guns, we were in the boat, and I had not long been back from Vietnam. Charles just gotten out of the Navy, I believe it was. And we were on the boat, and he was on the back of the boat. And unbeknown to me, he saw a snake. And he shot that shotgun behind me, and I damn near jumped in the water. But he killed the snake. And another incident we used to play cards a lot together. And our kid, Shelly, Dawn, always played together. You know, Charles was just young, real young. And we'd go over, and every once in a while, you know, Charles likes to eat. And we went over, and he said, "We're gonna get some oysters." So we went and got oysters. And he said, "Well, let's get a couple of bushels." And I said, "Charles, I don't know if we need a couple of bushels." And he said, "Well, those are for y'all. This one's from me." It was that kind of way. They've been great friends. We see them every once in a while. Not as often as we should, but we think the world of them. Like you know.
And our Shelley and my daughter Dawn were great friends. They loved each other when they were little. And poor Shelley could not say Dawn's name without saying Dawn King.
Dawn King.
One word, Dawn King.
Dawn King. Where's Dawn King?
No break. But we loved all those times. We did too.
Really?
I'm Paul Dixon, this is my wife Lois Dixon, Sherry's my aunt, that's Uncle Law, right there. Anyway, we've had a good time in life, and Sherry got my tail beat when I was a little kid. It was okay, she laughed it off.
She blamed things on you, right? Did she do it, right?
Well, she the one who told me to go get the tape, we was in the fire, and I went and got the tape, and Mama hollered, and I threw it in the broomstraw and caught the woods on fire, and I got my broomstraw tail burned up. My daddy, no mama, my daddy, and Sherry just laughed about it, so everything's fine out there.
All in the past.
Oh yeah, I have one more story. I will take part of the blame, I ain't gonna take all the blame. But there was Mr. Cole used to have a store right up the street, and just a little way, it was right on Highway 17, we'd walk up there and supposedly getting drinks, and we, how did that work, Sherry? You know too much more about it than I do. Anyway, we used to take the bottles off the back and sell them to get candy. Somebody had already had turned the bottles in. So Mr. Coble finally figured it out. He went back and counted the bottles in the back, and it would be 6 missing.
We would take the 6 and go trade them back in for candy.
So 2 cents a ball, too.
And so fair 4, Mr. Coble come back and he said, "We're going to the bottom." "Oh, we picked them up on the road." He said, "Well, how about the 6 missing out of that cart back there?" We just talked about it. Then it got to Mom and Daddy's. And we had prayer meeting again. So anyway, there's a couple of stories of me and all right together.
We were always up to something. Nothing really bad though.
That's right. It all turned out good.
But we usually did get our butts to
Best
work.
friend I ever had.
This is our friend Eddie Simpson, and he's been a friend of ours for a right good while now, and we love him.
Charles was the best counselor I had at drug recovery.
Yes.
I'm lying.
Sweet.
You did good.
Thank you. Oh, Heather might say something.
Yeah. Oh, I just wanted to say that, well, I've always been their tiny type. That's what they've always called me. They've always been my summer vacation, and they've always been the best, one of the best aunts and uncles I could ever dream of, having the best fun. They gave me the best side brother and sister, because I don't have any, but I claim them. So when you look all back, you just see God in it. You see God in everything. If you look everywhere and who you're connected to and how He brought you together, and I'm thankful God gave me you as my family. And I love you.
Love you too. Love you too. Well, some days I look and I think 55 years, and I think where we were and where we've come, and like Heather said, God's been in everything we've ever done. And even when we were in the valleys and we thought there wasn't no light at the end of that tunnel, He always had a better plan for us, and we always ended up on the mountaintop and always better off than what we were before. And we could not begin to thank Him or praise His name enough for everything that He's done for us. He gave us 2 great children that we're very proud of, 2 granddaughters and a great-granddaughter that we love very much. And people say sometimes, 55 years, that's a long time, and I say yes. And I tell them, when you get married, it's not a 50-50, it's a 100-100.
Right.
And it has to be that way, and it has to be communication, and there has to be love. And I'm very lucky and blessed, because He does tell me every day, sometimes more than once, that He loves me and that I'm beautiful, and that He's always been a good provider and a good daddy to our children and a good husband. And I tell everybody that, to have a successful marriage, you have to swallow your pride and put that aside, and you have to be able to say, I love you, and I forgive you, or forgive me, and I'm sorry when you need to. And so that's very important in a marriage. And not everybody can do that, and not everybody can forgive. And I go back thinking that we have a merciful God who, if you stop and think about His love for us, it's unreal, the love that He has for us. Because when we mess up, which we do, everybody does, and we ask Him to forgive us, He remembers that sin no more. Mm-hmm. No more. Ever. Ever. And you think about that. What an amazing thing. What amazing love that is, to have somebody that all you gotta do is say, I'm sorry, forgive me, and mean it. And He forgives you to remember no more. And if we could be more like that, how wonderful this world would be if we could be more like that. And so I'm very blessed and very thankful, and I wouldn't trade anything about our life, and I'd still marry Him today. And so He's a keeper.
Well, I've had the Lord talk to me for 2 or 3 days, trying to tell me what I need to say today. But I'm sure it just doesn't, it's not gonna come out like he thought it was. But there's a few things I would like to say. I would like to tell you a couple stories about our early marriage. We met at a shoe store. I was selling shoes at the Butler Shoe Store, which is across the street from the post office here in Wilmington. And the way we did it is the salesman would take turns taking care of the next customer, so we rotated so everybody got the same amount of customers in a day. So I saw Sherry coming in the shoe store from the sidewalk. And she was with her mother, Miss Edna, and she was with Kate. And they were getting shoes for going back to school. And Sherry was going into the 10th grade. So she was just finishing the 9th grade. And she was either 15 or 16. We don't know for sure. But I was 16, I think. So I saw them coming, and I told the guy that was up next, I said, let me take care of these people, and I'll let you take care of the next 2. He said, okay. So I moved up, and when they come through the door, I said, come on in, I'm gonna help you. So I was very impressed with her, of course. So I'm like, this is the prettiest girl I've seen in a long time. So I was selling her the shoes. I'm sure my hand was shaking when I put those shoes on her feet. You remember how they used to do in the shoe store? The guy helped put the shoe on your foot. So anyway, I sold her 3 pair of shoes that day. But she wasn't impressed with me like I was impressed with her. So I said, what grade are you in? And she told me she's going to New Hanover High School next year. So I'm like, okay. I think I was 1 year ahead of her. So I was in the 10th grade going into 11th, and she was going into 10th. So I said, well, I'll probably see you around New Hanover when school starts. This was the summer. So I said, what's your name? She said, Puddingtane. That's what you told the guy when you wasn't interested. The name is Puddingtane. Ask me again, I'll tell you the same. That's how it goes. So anyway, long story short, that was it. That was all I got out of that. But when school started, I did look for her. And it just so happened that some of the classes, as we changed classes, we would pass in the hallway a couple of times a day. Every time I saw her, I asked her for a date. And I said something like real clever, like, how about a date? That's how I did it. And she kept saying, no. She just kept on walking. She had a boyfriend at the time, but he was no good for her. And I knew he was no good. So I just kept asking for a date, and finally, I don't know the day or the month. She knows these things, and she doesn't understand how I don't know these things. But one day I did say, how about a date? And she said, yeah. I don't know what happened to her, but she finally saw the light. Anyway, we were behind the school on, I guess that's maybe Princess, maybe, or Chestnut, whatever one block behind New Hanover was. So I caught her on the curb there. And she gave me her name and phone number, and I was writing it down on a piece of paper, put it in my pocket. And just then, one of the teachers came by that I didn't like at all. He didn't like me at all. His name was Dick Fagan. Never will forget it. He said, I was smoking on the school grounds. At the time, I think I was smoking. Is that what it was? You were smoking on the school grounds, and I had one foot in pavement and one foot on the curb. That's the school ground. I should have said it's the right of way. Let's go to court. And I ended up with a week staying after school for a week.
Oh, no.
Late, anyway, we ended up going on our first date, and things went all right, and we started dating. We dated for 2 years till we got married in 1968, November 2nd. Anyway, I wanted to tell you a little bit about our first early marriage. And when you're 19, this is how I was when we were getting married. I was 19, she was 19. You think about the future, and this is something you've never done before. So it's kind of like getting in a boat, taking off at night in fog. You don't know what to expect. Because you get married for the first time, you don't know what it's like. You saw your mom and dad fuss and fight, and you know what marriage is like from that. But we got married, and I want to tell you about that. You would think people get married, it would be a good thing, and it's going to be for free. You think the preacher's going to marry you for free. That's what I thought. So Myrtle said, we got married at Ogden Baptist Church, preacher Avery Lumsden. And Myrtle said, Charles, the preacher's going to charge you $10 married. But he's going to give you the $10 back as a wedding gift. I said, okay, but I got to have $10. I'll give him $10. He's going to give me $10 back as a wedding gift. That's right. I didn't have any money. And those of you that was in the military in the 60s during Vietnam, I'm talking paying. I was in the military when we got married. I had just finished what's called A school, which I was an electrician. And so I only had like three stripes, E3. And I think the payback then was something like, I was getting like $20-some every 2 weeks. So that's about $45 a month. So when I got home, I had to rent a tuxedo to get married in. I didn't have any money. So we're back in the preacher's office with my daddy, who was my best man. And I said, Daddy, I hear the preacher's going to charge me $10 today, and I don't have $10. Could I borrow $10? He said, son, you mean to tell me you get married, you ain't got $10? I said, yes, sir. But I'm going to give it back to you. So you're just loaning it to me for a few minutes, okay? I'll give it back. Well, after the ceremony, I'm standing there, and some people are eating little mints, and we had a few little things that was a real cheap. It was a low budget wedding. Sherry was wearing a wedding dress that she borrowed. Of course, I rented a little suit. I wasn't that big then. It was half price. It was so little. But I rented that, and the preacher comes up to me. He says, grabs my hand. Congratulations, Charles. But you'll have a happy life. He wants the $10. I know he wants the $10. charge. Thank you, Charles. Have a nice marriage. I said, oh Lord. I went up to my daddy, I said, Daddy, you ain't gonna believe this. That preacher didn't give me the $10. So, then we go on our honeymoon. And I didn't have $10, right? So, we're going on a honeymoon. We told everybody we're going to Myrtle Beach. That was the thing, go to Myrtle Beach. And I'm driving her daddy's car. I don't have a car. We borrowed her daddy's car. And I'm driving. We get over to Leland, crossing the bridge, and I'm thinking, I ain't got the money for a hotel. I ain't got that kind of money. Sherry says, well, I got some money. People gave me money. My family gave me money. And I said, okay, good. How much you got? She told me, I still knew we wasn't going to have enough money to go to Myrtle Beach. So we pulled over in Leland to Camellia Inn. So we spent, that's where we spent our honeymoon, one night. It was a one-night honeymoon deal. The next day we still had a car, so we're like, let's go visit a few friends. Maybe they got something to eat. We went around, saw a few friends, and then that was how our wedding went. My duty station was going to be Seattle, Washington. My job was going to be, it said, you'll be assigned to the NMTX. Nobody at Great Lakes, Illinois, which is where I was at boot camp and A school, nobody knew what the NMTX was, including me. All you get's a piece of paper. So I get there, and I find out that I'm going to be working in the motion picture exchange. I'm going to have to watch movies for 2 years. Daggone it. It was terrible. Anyway, my job was Sherry. I checked her out of high school. After we got married, we went to the high school, and I checked her out. I went to every one of her classes and teachers and told her that we're going to Seattle, and they go, okay. So I checked her out like I was her daddy. So my job was to buy a car. My job was to find an apartment. Our budget for the apartment was $100 a month. And the car, we had no money for a car. I had to make money to buy a car somehow. I want to tell you this because this is kind of how our marriage started out. It was tough and hard. I'm up there working at the Motion Picture Exchange, and I had the opportunity to work for some people that were older than me that wanted somebody to work for them doing the Navy job Saturday and Sunday. So if I worked for a guy who wanted somebody to fill in for him, he would pay me $20. So in the month of December and the last part of November, I was able to save $200. So I was able to buy a car worth $200. So I hitchhiked to the car dealership. I went in. I said, I'm here to buy a car. I got $200. That's all the money I got. I got to have a car. So the guy says, we got some cars out back next to the chain link fence. If any of those cars will crank, you can have it. So a 1958 Ford station wagon, and it was a really nice looking car. I put the key in, turned it, it cranked right up. We rode it around the block, come back. I said, I'll take it. We went and did the paperwork. Guy took a rubber stamp, stamped it, said, you buying the car as is. Uh-oh's right. So I get in the car, drive across the street to the gas station to put some gas in it. And I also checked the radiator, and it was low on water. So I got the water can, I turned it up. It took all that water. So I filled it up again, put it in, and I noticed smoke coming out the tailpipe. I said, oh Lord, this thing got a busted head. So I took it back, right back to the car dealership. I go in, I said, sir, that car's got a busted head gasket. They won't hold water. The guy says, I'm sorry, but you bought the car as is. He said, we can fix that for you, and it's gonna be X $100. I said, I can't do that. I don't have any money. This is it. He said, well, I'm sorry, I can't help you. So I just sat down outside his office. I said, I ain't moving till you do something. So he says, okay. After a while, I sit there for an hour. He come over, he says, okay, we'll see if another car crank. If it will, you can have it. So we went out and I tried a 59 Plymouth with the push button transmission with the big fins on the back. It cranked up. So I was happy then. I made it to the base, parked the car. Sherry's coming on an airplane. She never flew an airplane before. And I'd only flew 2 or 3 times. So she's coming to like I don't remember if it was a Saturday or Sunday, but she's coming in. I'm supposed to meet her at the airport, pick her up with her luggage and everything. The morning that I was supposed to pick her up, there was a hard freeze that night. So I go out to crank this 59 Plymouth. This is like a day or 2 after I bought it. And it wouldn't crank. So I raised the hood, and the freeze plugs in the motor had poked out, and ice was falling, coming right out of the motor. So I'm like, oh Lord, I don't know what to do next. I mean, the whole motor was froze solid ice. So I had to get on the bus. I go to the airport. I'm waiting on her. We don't have cell phones. I can't call her and tell her what's happening. She can't call me and tell me her plane was delayed in Chicago. So I'm waiting. You're looking at the little TV, it says flight number so-and-so, running late. So I'm waiting. Finally it comes. She gets there. She had brought pots and pans and everything you need to set up housekeeping. She has these suitcases and all kinds of stuff. Right, which you know, that's what you gotta have. When I went there, I didn't go with nothing but my clothes. That was all I had. So she says, honey, where's the car? I said, it's at the base, it's froze solid. She said, how are we gonna get to the apartment? Which I had rented an apartment for $100 a month. It was a 1-room apartment. It had a kitchen, stove, and a refrigerator. It had a petition, which was your closet, and it had 1 bathroom, 1 toilet. So it was an efficiency 1-room apartment. She had a wife. Okay. I said, we're gonna have to take the bus. So we put her boxes on the bus. The bus takes us to Seattle, and we get at the bus station. I didn't have money for a taxi. So we had to walk from the bus station to our apartment. And we had all this luggage, and what we did, we would take some of it up a block, come back, get some more, and go get back up a block. And we did that block by block till we got to the apartment. So that's how our marriage started. So we went from there to here. But along the way, there was a lot of issues and so forth. We sit down now and we look back at our life. Probably gonna have trouble saying it, but if you were with me, I would get it out. But we look back at our life and we see where God has sent angels to help us when we needed help. At the time, we didn't know it. You people here today represent our angels. We have been sent some good people during our life that have made a big difference. If you have good friends, you have a gold mine in the soul, not in money, but in soul, in the soul and in the heart. I'd like to let you know that I do appreciate each one of you. And I want to tell you this, that God had given me a message for you. There's 3 things that God wants me to tell you. 1, God said that He wants you to open your ears. He wants you to hear the Word. He wants you to apply the Word to your life. He wants you to open your eyes. He wants you to see the work that He's done, the work that He's given us in this world. The sky, the stars, the birds, all the animals, all the things God gave us. These things did not just happen. God created these things for us to enjoy.
Amen.
And the earth, the world, all this we have, the opportunity, we have these things. He wants us to appreciate the things He's done, that He's given us. We take for granted. Right. He also wants you to see the work that He's done in people's lives. Look at the people and what God's done to help people that we know, how important the things He's done has meant to people. So open your ears, open your eyes. And the 3rd thing is open your heart. Because there's one thing that God can't do. He can do all these things, but there's one thing He can't do. He can't come into your heart unless you invite Him. You have the key. He has the will, and He'll come into your heart. If you get in the key, invite Him in. So open your heart.
Amen.
That's it. I appreciate every one of you and all you've done for us in our life. And each one of you knows how much you know how much you mean to us. Thank you.
Thank you.